Hello ladies and gentlemen, Simulation for the Nation here, and we bring you the very first reaction to Farming Simulator 22. The teaser trailer was announced this morning here, and we are not spoilt for some new introductions and some new insights as to what's going to be coming later on this year in the fall. So I thought we'd have a very quick review of the trailer and some of the features that are coming our way. If you haven't seen the trailer already, it's 19 seconds long. It essentially just depicts that we now have seasons in the game, and that is certainly one of the biggest takeaways from this. We're going to get into that in a little bit more detail, but obviously it means that we now have a little bit more in-depth realism from the base game there. So the foundation's already been built out really for what could be a really much more in-depth and more realistic farming simulator than ever before. We have a quick look through the press release though. Just have a quick look through what they're reviewing, what they're talking about. So as it says, prepare for new crops, new maps, new machines, new brands, and more. So already we know that we're going to be seeing a lot more immersion, a lot more to variation on what we already can see and know. Oh, and it's going to be snowy too. The additional of seasons cycles is also included, as well as other features to be announced soon. Again, we know that we're going to have seasons in there. Is it going to be quite the same level of in-depth realism as we have in the Realism is Modern version of seasons? We'll have to wait and see, but it's a great start that we do have that in there already. We've got a fantastic looking image with a cross-sectional of all the different seasons and what that looks like. So it does look very, very impressive. 2 new maps plus an updated Erlengrad map, the Alpine extension map obviously, will allow for different kinds of farming operations, more than 400 machines and tools from more than 100 authentic agricultural brands, including new machine categories, which will make agriculture, animal husbandry and forestry even more fun than ever. So again, I'm very curious to understand what these new categories will be. Will it be a new section of cultivation, for example? Will we be able to see new types of machinery there? Or are we going to be looking at something like some vineyard operations here, orchard farming perhaps as well? That could be really huge. If it's something completely different and from a kind of left field, that could be a whole new element that we just haven't seen before. It could be really, really fantastic. In short, Farming Simulator 22 will offer more depth thanks to a big variety of new additions and more freedom than ever before. That's what we want. That's what we want to be able to do there. That's what we want to be able to have, the complete control to any different style and design of farming in FS than that we want to, really. So I think that's going to be a really huge foundation. Speaking of foundations, the FS22 is going to focus on a lot more improvements from FS19, and that's going to be possible because of the engine upgrade boosts. So if we have a quick look into it, what we have, this is Giants Engine 9, and this is obviously Giants going out on their own then. For the first kind of iteration of this franchise, they're really going to try and build up on their own. They're not kind of being bound by what Focus may or may not want to do here. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out. But on Farming Simulator 22 is based on Giants Engine 9. It comes with a variety of improvements, like a more realistic AI behavior and richer worlds, with graduated reverberation of motors, gear selection and tonal variations depending on the load. The sound shifts towards more realism, just to give you an example. So let's unpack that last bit. With graduated reverberation of motors, gear selection and tonal variations dependent upon the load, the sound shifts towards more realism. We've got a gearbox coming in, folks. That's what that says to me. We have seen little video clips in the past there of what engine loads sound like. Obviously, they've been, for PC users, there have been variations of gearbox add-ons, which can really make that make driving a little bit more realistic. But it seems like we're going to be getting that in game. Now, my big question for that will be, is it going to be something that you can configure, the latest vehicle extension add-on, for example? You can change from a manual gearbox to a vario gearbox. You can disable it, you can add it on, you can have drive control in there. But I'm really interested to see what the engine performance is like when it is under load against when it's not under load for a brand new fast track, for example, versus an older classic tractor. So there's a lot to consider there, but I think that's, again, a lovely little feature to add on there, something that it's a small thing which will impact everyone's usage and will allow you to kind of get that realistic enjoyment, I think, whilst operating any machine there as well. So really looking forward to seeing how that pulls in together. And performance, that's going to improve too. DirectX 12 supported for Windows is coming into the game, which will provide multi-threading optimization, texture streaming, occlusion, culling, and temporal anti-aliasing amidst other optimizations. Now, to boil that down, essentially, DirectX 12 is a very recent edition, which requires Windows 10 or higher. But what it essentially means is we're getting higher optimization, we're going to get better frame rate, it's going to be more efficient, and it's going to be a more, eventually, it's future-proofing, but also DirectX 12 there will provide you for that long-term high performance and high optimization. In my mind, what we're doing here with FS22 is we're building the platform to move forward with. We're building, taking what we learned from FS19, we're applying that and advancing and improving some of those features, but we're bringing it all together so that we have a great stable platform to build on. Moving forward for the different iterations, whatever they may be, if it continues with the 22, 24, 26 cycle, we're going to see that we have that ability to build up from a great stable foundation, which I think is something that we desperately need. A lot of people in the past have reviewed and discussed the idea of an ETS or an ATS model where you build one engine and you just add on big extensions or big DLCs. That could be something that's possible. We could well look into that one. We'd have to wait and see, but this is a great starting point that we can actually begin with a solid base. And crucially as well, it's worth noting that this is across all systems, not just PCs. So it's really going to try to maximize the production from the last generation consoles, and also look to kind of build on what's possible with the new generation there. And PCs are always something that are a little bit more compatible because of the nature of the hardware. And hopefully, you know, as it does say here, laying the foundation for an even more complex mod customization and even pushing the limits of last gen consoles to enjoy with improved slot usage. So hopefully you're going to be able to do more with less for each map that you're playing on there. Each mod perhaps will require a lower number of slots, so you're going to be able to enjoy more within the game there. So that's something that we can all look forward to. And as it says here, more features will be announced as soon as we're ready to share at a proper time. Stay tuned until we unveil new elements in the coming weeks and months. Now what we're going to have a look into here as well is some of the screenshots from this release. So we're going to kind of scroll through a couple, we'll have a look into them all, and we'll point out and have a look and review of any new features that we may see. First of all, we're looking at animals here. Now the first thing that stuck out to me with this one, looks like we've got a new grass texture there. Looks like we have some animation on the cattle as well there. Looks like this cow in particular is licking its lips, but also look at the detail on the livestock there. They look so much more refined there. It looks like a new model. Looks like the cattle's tails are moving as well, which is good. So we're just gonna have that. Hopefully it means there's a whole new model around the cows. Hopefully we're not looking at the same kind of static model. I would love to see that they react to yourself as you move through in a vehicle or in a person, but I guess we'll wait and see. But yeah, looks like they're a lot more lively, that is for sure. As we look into the distance there, it looks like, is that clover in the background there, maybe I see? Well, no, that might be cotton there still, actually. Early stages of cotton, but it certainly looks like a new crop type in the background there. Now, moving on to perhaps the most impressive picture of the release, the Fendt Katana. A couple of things to point out here. First of all, look at that modeling. Isn't that just outstanding there? I want to just highlight the material textures again continue to look very, very impressive. Just look at the auger and the details with the bolts on the auger there. You can see the engine modeling inside at the rear of the tractor, of the harvester there, sorry. And it does look very impressive. From a crop texture type though, we've got a new harvested look on the ground. That looks really cool. New soil textures there as well by the looks of things, along with a new maize texture to boot. So lots to really take on board there. Curious, obviously we have GPS here on this tractor. I'd be curious to see how that integrates with the tractor and see if that's built in, see how we can control that one, because yeah, that could be a great new addition to have in there as well. Moving on to the big boy, this is a new John Deere. This is a 9R, but this is obviously a wheeled version. Now it looks like a new a large Varderstad cultivator there. What I particularly like from this is, okay, so first of all, we can see that we have seasonal textures in here, which is looking great to see there. This looks like we're in early autumn by the looks of things. The crop textures, so the field textures here look great. We've got what looks like a slightly refined stubble texture with chopped straw, but also the manner in which that's been incorporated as the field's been worked over looks pretty cool. So you have that kind of worked in chopped straw there. So it doesn't just go straight from one stage, such as a stubble field, straight into cultivated. This one looks a little bit more refined. I'll be curious to see what the difference is if you were to plow it over there, and if you were also to rework this over again. Does it go from this stage to a little bit more of an incorporated cultivation stage? Lots to look into there, that's for sure. Again, beautiful John Deere here though. Looks like we've got a CB aerial on there as well. That's interesting. I wonder if this means that we can hopefully see some more customization for the tractors there. You can put different things on, different light packages, maybe some CB aerials on there, that kind of thing. But hey, I guess we'll find out. And lo and behold, this is what I woke up to this morning. Folks, we've got a Massey 8S. Now, anyone who's new to the channel or anyone who knows my channel will know I'm a massive Massey fan, and this looks stunning. I love this tractor in real life. I think it's beautiful, and I think they have done, just judging from this look here, a fantastic job of it. Really do like the looks of this. I love I love the interior and what we can see from here. Screens on the side, that looks brilliant. I can't wait to see this in a bit more detail. This clearly looks like a bit of a new map here. It looks like we've got a nice new Kuhn drill on the back there as well, so I'll be curious to see how that one pans out. But yeah, again, direct drilling here into our stubble with what looks like another new soil texture, which is going to be nice to see. But yeah, ultimately looking forward to that one indeed. Just look at the detail on this. I love the engine bay that you can see. The tire textures look really nice as well. These are obviously new Trelleborgs on here, so that looks pretty cool. Looking forward to seeing a little bit more about this as and when we can. And again, more optimization with the CB aerials there, so that could be cool. Also, you may notice that we see different number plates on our tractors at the moment there, so I wonder if that's something you customize based on the region that you're in, adding different number plates here and there. Moving on to harvesting. This is a New Holland CH7.70, and we are... can't quite tell here if this is a new cereal crop that we're in, but anyway, we are harvesting away anyway. Again, look at the detail on the model. You've got your GPS on the bin on the top here. This looks like a new map here. We do have like a fire station, what it looks like in the corner, so that's pretty cool. Love to see a bit more about that one, but it is, yeah, again, great detail here on the modeling. I love it, I really do. I think we're looking forward to seeing a bit more information about the machinery lineup, but what you can tell already is that we've already, some of the kind of almost expected generic brands in game have had that refresh and a bit of a revamp, so that's really cool to see. And finally, here is our little overview of the season's map in question. So this looks like we're bringing you 4 different maps here, so that's kind of nice to see. That one looks a little bit more of a European, almost maybe perhaps even like a British style map. You've got some beautiful looking textures here across the woods. I really do like to see it. Ultimately, it's just looking like a very interesting insight into how Seasons is going to function here from a foliage standpoint and from a climate and environmental standpoint as well. We'll obviously look to see a little bit more of this as and when we can. Right now, we are working with very limited information. Let us know down below your comments, views on the teaser, what you like, what you don't like, what you're curious to see more of, and we will will no doubt be bringing you a lot more as soon as we can. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, don't forget to leave it down below, and we will see you all in the next one. Until then, do stay safe, enjoy what you're doing, and we'll catch you later.